20 film directors known for their unique styles. The term auteur refers to filmmakers who have a distinct approach to their craft that gives their films a personal and unique stamp. Many directors of the cinema industry, past and present, fall into this category. With their unique approach to filmmaking, usually shown through technical or artistic elements, audiences can automatically tell who the filmmaker is just by looking at the screen. It reinforces the directors as dreamers who have almost become their own brand. 1 of 20. Wes Anderson. Arguably, there is no modern director with a distinctive visual style like Wes Anderson. In his films, the director uses the same unique aesthetic, which includes specific color palettes, creative costumes, and shots with symmetrical and tableau frames. Anderson's films also often play out their narrative in a seasonal structure, and the deadpan delivery his actors deliver has become synonymous with the director. Anderson's talent has inspired many other films that aim for the same heresy. 2 of 20. Tim Burton. Tim Burton's dark and unique filmmaking style has given rise to the term Burtonesque. His work is so influential it's an adjective. Burton's films deal with unusual and strange characters that are often scary in performance. German expressionism inspires his dark Gothic tones, and is equal parts eerie and haunting. Burton has the ability to bring his style to any world, be it Wonderland, Mars, or Gotham City. 3 out of 20. Quentin Tarantino. Quentin Tarantino, one of the most popular film directors of our time, has become a household name thanks to his bold approach to filmmaking. Despite the obvious influence of martial arts and Western films, Tarantino's style is quite unique. The director is known for long dialogue segments, non-linear narratives, and violent bloodshed that can sometimes even be comedic. Also, it wouldn't be quite right if we didn't mention another Tarantino staple, at least one kick. 4 out of 20. Zack Snyder. You know you're watching a Zack Snyder movie when there's desaturated colors, slow motion, lots of quick cuts, and lots of bemused characters. Whether action, horror, or sci-fi, Snyder's films are always epic in scale and hard to execute. His over-the-top style aesthetic is almost animated and elevates the rough-and-tumble atmosphere of his films. That's why his energy fits so well with the DC universe, and why his Justice League has a jump ahead of its theatrical release. 5 out of 20. Sofia Coppola. Sofia Coppola is known for telling melancholic stories about women and brings a subtle artistic touch to each of her films. The framing and copula production is minimal, soft, and subtle. Pastel colors are usually in the spotlight and fashion is always in the spotlight. Visuals and atmosphere are usually preferred over lengthy dialogue, creating an intimate viewing experience. Coppola is also known for unconventional production work, such as the use of modern music in period films. 6 out of 20. Spike Lee. Spike Lee, one of the most important voices in the film industry, has been busy with loud and timely films. Lee's work typically centers around African American protagonists and has social commentary on race relations. The tone and pacing is brisk and energetic, with humor creating a sense of urgency. Lee is famous for using the double dolly shot, which is like a dolly shot, but the actor stays still while the background moves forward or backward. 7 out of 20. Take Your Heart. Guillermo del Toro is not only a hero in the defense of cinema, but also one of the great visionaries of today. Del Toro is known for mixing horror and fantasy in his films, giving birth to truly memorable movie monsters. His films are artistically rich and detailed, featuring strange and wonderful characters and worlds. He often combines realistic themes with the fantastic, proving that humans can be just as monstrous as the creatures he creates. 8 out of 20. Jane Campion. As one of the most prominent female voices in the film industry and an Oscar winner, Jane Campion is an artist in every sense of the word. His films often use ambiguity to convey themes that usually revolve around desire and madness. Visual metaphor and deep character psychology play an important role, and she is known for challenging the male gaze. These elements are met with dreamy cinematography that captures vast environments and landscapes. 9 out of 20. Michael Bay. With an approach described as Bayhem, action director Michael Bay is known for going all in on the scale of his films. The director uses fast editing, cutting, and dynamic and sweeping camera movements to create an adrenaline rush for his audience. Without apologizing for being loud and crazy, there's nothing subtle about Bay's style, which is totally for action genre. The guy does love his big set pieces and, most notably, explosions. 10 of 20. Alfred Hitchcock. They call him the master of suspense for a reason. Alfred Hitchcock is one of the greatest directors of all time and arguably created the horror and thriller genre. Described as Hitchcockian, common traits in his films include nail-biting tension, dark subject matter, and twisty turns at every corner. Hitchcock's legacy is also due to his innovative filmmaking techniques, which often included POV shots and voyeuristic observation, focusing on the unseen and disorienting dolly zooms. 11 of 20. Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan is perhaps the most technically innovative director working today. He's known to prefer film over digital, shooting his projects with IMAX cameras and making them epic spectacles. A master of the craft, Nolan uses naturalistic lighting and practical effects rather than CGI and sticks towards muted colors like grays or blues. His films feature immersive soundscapes and booming scores and usually tackle thought-provoking subjects in a non-linear format. 12 of 20. David Fincher. Nobody does dark and moody films that deal with humanity's darkest crevices like David Fincher. Known for tackling stories that deal with crime and violence, Fincher's films are stylishly put together and gnarly in execution. He uses monochromatic and washed-out color tones that give his shots a certain grunge feel. Low-key lighting and heavy shadows feature prominently, bringing mystery and uneasiness to his work. It is these conventions that bring edgy flair to his filmography. 13 of 20. Stanley Kubrick. Throughout his career, Stanley Kubrick dabbled in many genres: sci-fi, horror, drama, war, and more. While the director could switch between different kinds of movies effortlessly, all his films have that timeless and evocative Kubrickian stamp. Known for his striking visuals, Kubrick's attention to detail and production design is unmatched, with a favored use of primary colors. He is known for using the one-point perspective shot, which refers to diverting attention towards the vanishing point at the center of the frame. 14 of 20. Chloe Zhao. Chloe Zhao has only recently made a name for herself in the film industry but has already won an Oscar for Best Director and established her distinct filmmaking style. Whether it's an indie drama or a Marvel movie, Zhao brings a gentle and naturalistic touch to each of her projects. Her camera work is free-flowing and lingers on its characters, and she also prefers natural lighting. This helps her deliver breathtaking and picturesque shots you can almost feel. 15 of 20. Terrence Malick. At almost 80 years old, Terrence Malick is still making riveting films steeped with his trademark directing characteristics. His films are known for their stunning cinematography, using wide-angle lenses and free-roaming camera movements that make for intimate yet sprawling shots. Malick's work is usually meditative and spiritual, with big themes and ideas, often accompanied by a philosophical character voiceover. These conventions allow moviegoers to be truly immersed in his work. 16 of 20. Edgar Wright. Edgar Wright is a filmmaker who has truly made his mark on pop culture, popping out some of the funniest and most energetic movies of the last 20 years. Usually going for a mix of comedy and action, Wright's work is fast-paced and satirical, complete with snappy editing and brilliantly curated soundtracks. The director uses techniques like zooms, tracking shots, quick cuts, match cuts, whip pans, and transitional wipes to create a rhythm that is invigorating to keep up with. 17 of 20. Greta Gerwig. While Greta Gerwig has been acting on our screens for a little while, she's risen to prominence in the last decade as the most successful female director working today. While all of Gerwig's movies are entirely different from each other, they all have feminist undertones and focus on a female character and her coming-of-age experience. Yes, even Barbie. She expertly balances humor and drama, and her films feature powerful monologues brought to life by exceptional actors. 18 of 20. The Wachowskis. When it comes to ambitious and epic sci-fi or fantasy films, Lily and Lana Wachowski are the most imaginative and daring. The pair used their experience as comic book writers to create visually inventive movies with detailed world building and innovative action. While not all their films have been hits, each contains eye-popping CGI that brings their stories to life in an exciting and uniquely sensory way. Their best films have the perfect mix of thematic storytelling and groundbreaking VFX. 19 of 20. Denis Villeneuve. Regarding large-scale and intelligent sci-fi movies today, Denis Villeneuve is your guy. His films ignore classic Hollywood sci-fi conventions and are steeped in gritty realism. Taking influences from noir and crime films, his work features sleek production elements, which include roaring soundscapes and striking cinematography. His sci-fi stories are thought-provoking, focusing on narrative and atmosphere rather than explosive action. 20 out of 20. David Lynch. When one thinks of surrealist films, David Lynch instantly comes to mind. Lynchian is the term used to describe the director's style, which has a dreamlike yet nightmarish quality. He strays far from anything conventional and is known for ambiguous and confusing narratives far removed from reality. Complete with crossfades and unnervingly ambient sound design, his work truly explores something deeper. It's not about whether the story makes sense but rather the mood it evokes.